Ready? Ready, ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Because what's up? It's Joe with OCDetailing, and I have behind me a brand new 2026 Plaid Model S. The Plaid Model S basically has stayed the same since 2021 when it came out, but they did a really cool refresh on this, and it's the most dramatic one I've ever seen them do to a Model S. Now, I say that because basically if I showed you this car from 2011 to 2024, there are some subtle differences, and most of the differences lie in like the bumpers, the front and rear bumpers, maybe the interior changes, but they never separated the performance cars from the non-performance. There was subtle cues that would allow you to tell the difference, whether it be the brake caliper color or whether it had a spoiler on it. But these are all things that you very easily could have replicated on a non-performance car, and just you wouldn't know if you saw it. Now, I picked this car up today from the Tesla factory for our customer who's been a super long time customer of mine and gets a new Model S every 4 years. So he's getting rid of his old Model S Plaid and getting this one. And right when I walked up to this car, I was like, because it looks super aggressive and I love it. Now, if you look at an AMG C63 or E63 Mercedes and you look at a regular E-Class or a regular C-Class, same thing with BMW M cars and like an M3 or a 3 Series, you immediately know there is something special about the M cars because they look very different. They have a different stance to them. They look more aggressive. The wheels are spaced differently. Now, I've never seen that with Tesla, like I said, but this one, very obvious to me that this is a much more aggressive car. They actually added a bunch of aero to the front bumper, and I think they took this cue. They started doing it with the Model 3 first because the base Model 3 to the performance Model 3 now has very different bumpers, and the bumpers are much more aggressive front and rear. But they're not as crazy as this. Like if you see this car, you're gonna know that this thing's packing some heat. So they did these new bumpers on the car that actually have these really cool lower diffusers, a lot more ventilation. I'm assuming it's functional. Like I didn't actually research enough to find out. They also did away with the hole right here and put a carbon fiber piece with the Tesla emblem. And the headlights are a little bit different too, giving this front end a pretty unique and just mean look to it. Like this is the most aggressive Model S. It almost reminds you of like when you would see like an unplugged body kit on one. Kind of mimics that style a little bit. Walking around the rest of the car, the rest of the tweaks are pretty subtle until you get back to the back bumper. So my understanding is the glass is all different on this car. It actually mimics the glass on like the Juniper Y, so it has a little bit of upgraded heat rejection, UV rejection in the glass, and it's a little bit thicker, also better with noise cancellation. I did drive this car because I picked it up for a customer from the factory, and it was whisper quiet. Now, having picked up so many new Teslas and owned a bunch myself, every time I pick up a Tesla, they seem to be pretty quiet, and then shortly after they start making all kinds of noises. So I don't know if this one will do the same, but for what it's worth, my Juniper Y has not yet. It is still a very quiet car, and I think I've got like 10,000 miles on it now. Now, walking around to the back of this car, oh, actually I want to stop right here and I want to point at the wheels. These are the 21-inch optional performance wheels. They stuck them on Pilot Sport 4S's, which is a very sticky tire. The size on the front is 265, the size on the back is 295. I like the design of this wheel, but what I really like is they spaced it out a little bit further. So this wheel's actually a lot more flush than the previous gen one. It set in a little bit further. Now, same thing on the back. The wheel actually is pretty close to lip level. You can actually see that it sits flush here and here, where I feel like the older Tesla, the wheel would stick in a little bit more, but it's probably because it was in my head, I think it was a 285 versus 295, so you get a little bit wider tire in the back. Now, the back end of the car is actually another place that if you see the back end of this car, you just know it means business. Typically, high performance cars have big diffusers like this to let you know that you probably shouldn't try to race them, but this car also has the Plaid badge. And then this spoiler is different. I only know this spoiler is different than the other Plaid spoiler because I've installed the other Plaid spoiler maybe like in excess of 200 times. So I understand the lineup points and what the gap should look like. This one is longer. So the lineup points are the same. It has the same little grid that follows the body line on the hatch. But then the gap right here is much shorter, so they've made the spoiler a little bit longer. Taillights look like they're the same. They actually put the Tesla lettering on here like they did on a Performance Model 3. This was actually gone for a while. Those are just blank. Now let's look at the inside. They made some subtle changes on the inside of this car. Looking at the door panel, it looks just like an older Plaid to me. I don't think there's any big changes there. But one thing they did do on this is they did really cool inserts in the seats. So the seats now have a two-tone look to them. I guess you could spec it that way, where you've got the black Alcantara with the white seat. And this is actually great. As a detailer, I can tell you right now that those bolsters, when they're all white, they get destroyed. You get blue jean rub there, you get transfer, you get stains, you get sweaty butt stains. All of those things, they transfer onto that white right there. Now you've got it black, which it'll still transfer, but you can't see it. So that's a great thing. I actually think that's a very tasteful. And now another thing they did is they did away with the piping. So if you come look at this seat, it's like the Performance Model 3, except it's a little bit upgraded. So they put the Plaid symbol in here to let you know this is a Performance. The older cars had just piping on the seats. That was the only difference between the Plaid and the non-Plaid, is you would see like a colored piping that would let you know that that was the Performance version. This very much stands out. I don't think this seat's available in the long range. Now, looking at this glass, you can see that it is the double pane glass like I was talking about that they have in the Juniper Y. So it's supposed to be more noise insulated, so make the cars a little bit quieter, as if they're not quiet enough because they're electric. Now, looking at the rest of the inside of this car, I don't know how they did this, but they ghosted the LED ambient light into the silver trim, which is dope, because I saw it turn off when I was driving because it's daylight, and I couldn't see it. So I have no idea how they got this to illuminate through here. Science? Magic? Magic science? Is science magic? Or is magic science? I don't know. Ask Tesla. Now, other than that, looks very familiar in here. This they've got the tilting screen, Alcantara headliner, center carbon fiber center console with normal pockets. They've got some tape here. Since I just picked this car up for the customer, I'm assuming I can remove it. I don't before it like leaves tape residue everywhere. The floor mats look the same. Everything else looks very similar to the outgoing car. Was there anything else different in here? I don't think so. Here, now let's check the trunk space and see if anything changed about that. We'll go to controls. We'll pop the frunk and the trunk open. One thing they did not do is add a power frunk, which, you know, some other cars like come standard power frunk. not competitor. Lucid has power frunk standard. This car does not. Okay, they gave him a giant box back here. I don't know what this is, but it's for a customer, not us, so we don't care. We're not going to look. It does. It looks exactly the same. Oh, the stereo system's different. I definitely could hear the stereo system because when I got in this car, I was connected with my phone. It immediately logged onto my profile, so I got to hear a song. Compared to my Plaid Model S or X, the stereo system sounds a little bit better in here. I don't know if that's just because it's brand new or if it's in my head, but it definitely sounded a little bit different. They also made the back seats a little bit different too. No, actually they didn't. They just did the inserts. It's the same back seat, just with the inserts. I was thinking, I didn't see this when I was driving, the little hump in the middle right there, but no, it's still there. Yeah, overall, subtle tweaks. I think the most dramatic of them being the cool wheels and the front and rear bumpers that make this car just look as aggressive as it should. Because Plaid Model S's are no joke. I mean, they've been the benchmark drag racer for, you know, coming up on 5 years now. If you see one of these, you just know you're gonna lose, right? There's no point to race this car. So now, at least you can tell the difference between this and like a long range, and it actually stands out. So you know not to race. It's like a rattlesnake, you know, it goes, it lets you know not to bite it, or not to go near it. Fun fact, you know where most rattlesnake bites happen? On people's hands, because when it's rattling its tail, people think they should pet the rattlesnake. Don't do that. Don't pet rattlesnakes. They bite you, and it's not good. Now, other than that, we forgot to check out the trunk. Let's see if it's different. The frunk. More of the same. It looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Other than this carbon fiber piece right here. You know what's one thing that's been true through all this, since 2011 or 12, whenever that was, you have to close the front of one of these cars like this, or this will crease over the latch point. There's my first look at this car. Now, I'm really excited to work on this one because our customer is going to let us do something super cool to it. We're going to do ULTRAFIT Retro Matte PPF. This is a super satin finish. It looks awesome on ultra red. For the longest, I actually hated any red cars in matte or satin because they look like racquetballs to me. It just looked rubbery. I didn't think it was a good look. But on this color, this has been the one that I absolutely love in that. So we're going to knock that out. We're going to ceramic coat it and tint all the windows. Make sure our customer's nice and cool. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe with OC Detailing. Please subscribe for more videos.